Please, can you go absolutely wild for James?
I'm from Bristol, and here's my first one, which I wrote for a friend who moved to London from Bristol. Everyone that's been to Bristol knows it's a friendly place. London's not quite as friendly. So this is a piece I wrote to help me through that. So it's called When It All Gets a Bit Too Much. It seems silly you can be surrounded by thousands of people, yet feel more alone when at home left to your own devices. In a city more concerned with its preservation of self, personal wealth and sordid vices, a city where people feel more at ease with their faces in their phones, hoping people won't notice them, because God forbid they make eye contact with someone they don't know. It seems silly that in this day and age it still takes us by surprise to see a random act of charity, generosity, that these acts happen so rarely. When they do, they remind us to take a step back and see with clarity the positives in this life. So when it all gets a bit too much, close your eyes. Imagine the clouds clearing in the skies, the world bathed in glorious light, banishing the smog-induced twilight. Imagine taking a paintbrush and colouring in the faded facades of buildings people no longer care about. Your heart as an arrow taking aim and firing its compassion and love among people who have long lived without. Because while everything in front of you may seem forlorn and unwelcoming, everything behind you is vibrant and alive from your passing, so don't forget to turn around. Appreciate the beauty of where you came from, what you've made, what you've achieved, the struggles you've been through, that you stood strong and proved them all wrong, even in front of the toughest critic of them all, you. You made it this far, you've got a long way to go, you might feel lonesome on your travels, but there's something you should know, that even when you walk alone, you don't live alone. There's people for you, maybe not seconds away, but easily contactable by phone. People that don't need to be told you're upset, they just know and will do anything to pick you up and help you as you go, help you put one foot in front of the other, help you reap the benefits of what you've sown, help you see the light at the end of the tunnel, remind you of the strength and resolve that you've shown and that you've grown, and you've got a lot of growing to do. Sometimes the world can be tinted shades of grey and blue, so just pick up the phone, give us a call, we'll be there for you. That's that. I've got one more for you. One of those people that reads from their phones, which one of those. Again, most of my poetry I tend to just write when I notice something about myself and things, and I know most poets don't tend to write about being happy because where's the poetry now? But this is one I wrote a few months back, just before my birthday, about happiness and focusing on the positives. So, no, that was the name of the last one. What's this one called? Something like that, anyway. So, on the eve of turning 24 years old, I stood in front of the mirror and reflected on the past 72 hours. I don't stare at myself in the mirror, but tonight I hesitated. I saw something I hadn't seen in a long while. I performed on stage for the first time and finally found my voice, exposing a part of me long suppressed, stepping far, far out my comfort zone. That I'd finally found a passion, a drive, a need to express that I'd always hoped to discover but never known, until now, somehow, I finally stumbled upon my place, my home. I looked into the mirror. I realised for the first time in a long time I wasn't just doing all right or fine, I was content and I was happy. Wales had done well in the rugby, and I've been thinking of my dad, Key. The fondest memories with him I had were watching the Six Nations Cup. It had been 70 years since he passed away, but even as an atheist I felt connected to him when watching the game. I looked into the mirror. I realised for the first time in a long time I wasn't just doing all right or fine, I was content, I was happy. I had spent the better part of the day with my best friends, putting the world to rights, talking late into the night, and as always went together creating memories we'll treasure the length of our lives. I looked into the mirror. I realised for the first time in a long time I wasn't just doing all right or fine, I was content and I was happy. I was surrounded by my family. I got to hold my nephew, he's 6 months old, and I've never been good with kids and they always make me nervous, but I guess when it's your own flesh and blood you can't help but adore and reserve it. Holding in my arms I pondered on the wondering beauty of life, that someone so small could one day surpass my height. I looked into the mirror. I realised for the first time in a long time I wasn't just doing all right or fine, I was happy. I stared a while longer. Then I got frustrated at myself, at the fact it had taken me seeing the smiles in my own eyes to realise that happiness is what I felt. That had I paid closer attention to the little things, the small victories, whether it be making the bus in time or meeting new members of the family, had I focused on the positives, it would have been so flipping obvious to see that I had no reason not to be happy. I stopped looking into the mirror. I wasn't just alright or fine, and I no longer needed to see myself to know in my mind that I'm okay. I made the right choice, I found my place, I found my voice, and above all, thanks.